Hello everyone, welcome to PRATHAM Test Prep. My name is Ashish Bhargav and here we have with another episode of Daily News Analysis. कैसे हैं आप सब? And I hope that you guys are doing well. और न्यूज़पेपर एनालिसिस सेशन इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज इसमें हम डिस्कस करते हैं जनरली वी डिस्कस द हिंदू एंड इंडियन एक्सप्रेस एंड अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट इसमें we cover all the important news from all major newspaper that covered in this session. And यहाँ पे डेली न्यूज़ एनालिसिस सेशन में वी डिस्कस जनरली अबाउट द नेशनल न्यूज़, इंटरनेशनल न्यूज़ ऑल्सो, एनी लाइक इंटरनेशनल डिस्प्यूट्स. अभी आपने देखा होगा यूएस डिपोर्टेशंस के बारे में, जहाँ पे जो इलीगल इमिग्रेंट्स थे इंडिया के उनको उन्होंने अमृतसर भेज दिया. इकोनॉमी बेस्ड न्यूज़, स्पोर्ट्स बेस्ड न्यूज़, साइंस एंड टेक, पर्सनल न्यूज़, समिट्स एंड कॉन्फ्रेंस एंड मिसलेनियस. And we also discuss about Supreme Court verdict, any amendments, any bills which is in the parliament. This is also we discuss in newspaper analysis session. And uske baad question of the day means that we'll ask you the 5 questions based on the analysis that we do in today analysis. Uske bhi yahan pe kuch questions honge MCQ that would be very important to solve the questions. बिकॉज डियर फ्रेंड एक चीज़ समझना आपको बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होगा कि टू गैदरिंग इंफॉर्मेशन और टू सॉल्विंग MCQ द बोथ आर डिफरेंट थिंग्स. वंस यू गैदर्ड ऑल द इंफॉर्मेशन but you are unable to solve the multiple choice questions, that is a crucial things in your exam because you are going to solve it, right? तो एक चीज़ आप ध्यान रखें कि यहाँ पे ये चीज़ बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि MCQ क्वेश्चंस को सॉल्व करना है एंड एज वेल एज यहाँ पे ये भी चीज़ इंपॉर्टेंट है कि MCQ के साथ साथ जो है बाकी आप उन चीज़ों को समझें जो न्यूज़पेपर में ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. और क्विक टिप्स में आज हम सीखेंगे निमोनिक्स के हेल्प पे. बट आपको कुछ आज बजट के ऊपर कुछ 2-3 आर्टिकल्स हैं, बट उसके लिए कुछ आपको मैं वीडियोस दिखाने की कोशिश करूंगा. एंड लिसन वेरी केयरफुली, इंडियन एक्सप्रेस की वीडियोस हैं एंड हियर इज द वीडियो.
Did you know that these prime ministers presented the union budget? Yes, in India's history there have been several occasions when the prime minister stepped in to present the union budget instead of the finance minister. First, Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru presented the 1958 union budget after Finance Minister T.T. Krishnamachari resigned on February 22, 1958 due to the Mundra scam. Nehru, already handling key portfolios like external affairs and atomic energy, took over the finance ministry. He called his budget pedestrian as it mainly built on the previous year's budget but introduced new taxes such as wealth tax and expenditure tax. Next, in 1970, Prime Minister Indira Gandhi presented the budget after Morarji Desai resigned as finance minister in 1969. Her 1970 budget focused on poverty alleviation, bank nationalization and social welfare programs, marking a significant shift in India's economic priorities. Then, in 1987, Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi stepped in as Finance Minister after VP Singh resigned amid his investigation into tax evasion cases involving people close to the Prime Minister. Rajiv Gandhi presented the 1987 to 89 budgets focusing on modernizing India's economy, though his time as Finance Minister was brief. If you found this interesting, share this video with someone who would be interested and follow the Indian Express for extensive coverage of the Union Budget 2025.
So you are done with the video this one. And the second जो है आपका इसमें न्यू टैक्स रिजीम जो टैक्स रिबेट है those who income rupees 12 lakhs.
I am now happy to announce that there will be no income tax payable up to income of 12 lakh rupees. 0 to 4 lakh rupees nil, 4 to 8 lakh rupees 5%, 8 to 12 lakh rupees 10%, 12 to 16 lakh rupees 15%, 16 to 20 lakh rupees 20%, 20 to 24 lakh rupees.
Okay.
20.
So now going to the next slide. Here, this article is why it is linked with these things, and historical background is very important to make you understand कि why you can see the importance of these videos. So यहाँ जो previous budget present हुआ था in July 2024 after the Lok Sabha elections that has accorded priority to employment and skill development given the nature of the election mandate. Our finance minister had announced a prime minister package of 5 scheme and initiative to facilitate job and internship opportunity for 4.1 crore youth को over a 5-year period with a center outlay of rupees 2 lakh crore. फिर भी बजट स्पीच में पार्लियामेंट में जो डिलीवर किया गया ऑन February 1st 2025 को, जिसमें कि दैट डिड नॉट रेफर टू द प्राइम मिनिस्टर पैकेज इवन वंस, और जो डॉक्यूमेंट्स था ऑन इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ऑफ बजट 2024-2025 अनाउंसमेंट स्टेट दैट अ ड्राफ्ट कैबिनेट नोट ऑन एम्प्लॉयमेंट लिंक्ड इंसेंटिव स्कीम्स इज अंडर फाइनलाइजेशन, and several meetings have been held with the Ministry of Labour and CII to discuss the relationship between capital expenditure and employment generation. In other words, the future of the schemes looks bleak. And second statement is that deflationary budget. डिफ्लेशन की इसमें बात की गई, इट मीन्स दैट सितंबर 2024 की जो रिपोर्ट आई थी उसमें PLFS जो डेटा होता है, PLFS क्या होता है डियर फ्रेंड, दैट इज कॉल्ड पीरियोडिक लेबर फोर्स सर्वे, पीरियोडिक लेबर फोर्स सर्वे that reveals that in 2023-2024 में the youth unemployment rate for those aged 15 to 29 had increased to 10.2% increase हुई है, that had increased to 10.2%, and the unemployment rate जो है among graduate that was 13%. So time series date from PLFS shows that the share of workforces engaged in the regular or salaried employed in the post-pandemic period has shrunk, while the share engaged in agriculture and informal self-employed has been rising. मतलब जो प्राइमरी सेक्टर है अपना, दैट इज एग्रीकल्चर, वो ज़्यादा कहीं ना कहीं डोमिनेट कर रही है. और लास्ट इकोनॉमिक सर्वे भी ये बताता है कि एवरेज रियल अर्निंग ऑफ सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयड मेल वर्कर्स इन इंडिया दैट फेल फ्रॉम 9,454 2017 और 18 में जो डेटा था, राइट, एंड वो होके पहुंच गया 8,591 in 2023-2024. And the monthly real wages of regular salaried male workers also fell from average to 12,665 in 2017 and 18 to 11,858 in 2023-2024 में. सरप्लस लेबर की अगर बात करें तो सरप्लस लेबर जो है that in annihilating the job market combined with the high food inflation that have severely squeezed the real income and livelihood of an overwhelming majority of India's workforce. For a finance minister that to overlook this is so the advanced estimate of GDP that have already projected a decline of the real GDP growth rate जो कि था 6.4% in 2024-2025 में, जो पहुंच गया 8.2% पे last year. And keeping with this, there is a slowdown in the center net tax revenue in 2024-25, with the finance minister keen on adhering to the fiscal consolidation path. The X has fallen on government expenditure, and total expenditure is now likely to be over as 1 lakh crore short of budget estimates, that is BF, with capital expenditure falling short by the target of 92,000 crore. पब्लिक एक्सपेंडिचर की बात करें यहाँ पे, तो पब्लिक एक्सपेंडिचर ऑन रूरल एंड अर्बन डेवलपिंग, एग्रीकल्चर, एजुकेशन, फूड सब्सिडी, एनर्जी, ट्रांसपोर्ट एंड हेल्थ आर well being annex. And among centrally sponsored scheme, the revised estimates for the Jal Jeevan Mission and प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना जो अर्बन और रूरल के लिए थी, और उसमें भी डिक्लाइन हुआ, दैट इज 47,469 crores and 38,565 crore respectively. So the expenditure of MG Narega, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, that was cut in the itself that 3,654 crores from the previous year. Such deep cuts in budget, capital and welfare expenditure would have a dampening effect on investment and consumptions, especially in rural areas. Finance Minister ने that has sought to counterbalance the deflation impact on these expenditure that cuts by enhancing the annual rebate for income taxpayers from 7 lakhs to 12 lakhs from 2025 to 2026. और डेटा जो आता है इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट का शो दैट ओनली अराउंड 2.8 करोड़ जो है इंडिविजुअल्स हैड पेड positive taxes in the assessment year 2023-2024 out of 7.54 crore filing income tax returns. So this income tax relief from next year would therefore go for 2.8 crores individuals only, and who are only from 22% of India's salaried workforce, and for the rest who are faced with dwindling real incomes, they are nothing offer. So the finance minister has estimated to revenue foregone on account of income tax rebate to rupees 1 lakh crore. Instead, a cut of a similar magnitude in indirect taxes such as exorbitant excise duties on fuel and central GST rates on mass consumption goods could have provided relief to entire class of working people. It is well known that the consumption's prosperity of wage earners is higher than that of the profit earners. Average daily wage actually received by MG Narega workers, that as data provided Ministry of Rural Development dashboard, has increased from 200.71 in 2019-20 to 252.31 in minimum age for unskilled workers in agriculture. So substantial hike in the MG Narega wage in the union budget alongside an increase in rural development outlays that would have led to increased consumption demand in the rural areas. The consumption effect of income tax breaks in contrast would be far more limited and concentrated in urban areas. Last economic survey जो है वो ये बताता है that शायद private sector research report to show that after tax profit to GDP ratio of Nifty 500 companies surged from 2.1% in 2021 से 4.8% in 2023-2024. फिर भी जो 2025 का यूनियन बजट है that relied upon another tax break this time for income tax payers to inject demand into the economy, when the cutting capital and welfare expenditure to compress the fiscal deficit. This is unlikely to generate a higher level of economic growth and employment and raise the living standards of the vast majority of the working people. It is evident that the government has run out the ideas of economic front. Now, this article is somehow similar about tax break will give a fillip to slowing economy. Advocating trust in people's wisdom, Finance Secretary says taxpayer, a Finance Secretary who is the person, as you can see it here, he is our Finance Secretary, that is Tuhin Kanta Pandey. So the center decisions to slash in the income taxpayers' burden was aimed at addressing some angst that has noticed in recent months, as well as to give a fillip to the economy, weakening growth impulses with a broad-based boost to demand, savings and investment. Finance Secretary Tuhin Kanta Pandey that said on Sunday that normally हम कहते हैं कि जो investment multiplier है वो more होनी चाहिए consumptions multiplier से. But the state of economy that we have today, it requires all kinds of engine to be fired. Therefore, agnostic of that, I think we should really be trusting on people's wisdom. Whatever they want to do, it will come back to the economy, will get a boost. And the center will forego 1 lakh crore by making annual income up to the 12 lakh free and reducing tax slabs and raised. So it is a relief, and it is also policy choice that the government has exercised in order to see that extra disposable income will come back to the economy and lift the spirits. This would enhance the weakening growth engines of demands and address the slowdown concern too. Next article, आपको पता होगा कि यहाँ पे जो illegal immigrants थे उनको हटाया गया US से. The legal system that under which citizenship is acquired, what are the two different principles which govern citizenship laws in various countries? What was the system in the US? How are India's citizenship laws different? US President Donald Trump that issued an executive order stating that US citizenship will be granted in the future only to children with parents holding US citizenship or US green card. ये condition apply की वहाँ पे. So in that context, we need to understand what are the legal principles. Citizenship is defined as full and equal membership of a country. In words of Hannah Arendt, citizenship is a right to have rights. So there are two important legal systems based on which citizenship is acquired in various countries. One of them is jus soli. Jus soli, which means that right to soil. Under the principle, a child's citizenship is determined by his or her place of birth, irrespective of the citizenship of their parents. For example, in India, that if my parents born from the different countries, but I born in India, so my father's citizenship is from this place, so automatically I will get the citizenship of this country. Many North American and Latin American countries like in Canada, Mexico, Brazil, Argentina follow this principle while granting citizenship for children born with their country. The other is jus sanguinis, which means the right of blood. Under this principle, a child's citizenship is determined by the citizenship of parents. Many African, European and Asian countries like Egypt, South Africa, Germany, India follow this principle. So jus soli means right to soil. Child citizenship determined by his place of birth, irrespective of citizenship of his parents. But if a child born in this country, that means that automatically he or she will get the citizenship of this country. And we are following the jus sanguinis, which means the right of blood, which means the principle of child citizenship determined by citizenship of parents. Under the current issue of US, so US has practiced the grant of citizenship based on the jus soli. Means that the 14th amendment की गई US Constitution में that adopted in 1868 that states that all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to jurisdiction therefore are citizens of United States. And US Supreme Court in 1998 reaffirmed that 14th amendment extended to all children born in the US irrespective of their parents' citizenship. And the current executive order issued by President Trump, that title protecting the meaning and value of American citizenship, decrees that American citizenship would be granted only to children with parents holding US citizenship or a US green card. This order to be implemented from February 19th. However, a federal court in the state of Washington has temporarily stayed the order, stating that it is blatantly unconstitutional. What about citizenship in India? While we talk about in our country, citizenship in India is governed by Citizenship Act 1955, and this act till June 1987, India followed the jus soli. And jus soli, which means principle granting automatically citizenship to anyone born in India. Subsequently, the laws was amended to introduce jus sanguinis principle between July 1987 and December 2004. It was required that either of the parents of a child born in India was a citizen of India for granting citizenship. December 2004, the requirement was further restricted, wherein both the parents had to be citizen and one parent is a citizen and the other not an illegal immigrant. This was, primarily to restrict citizenship to child born in illegal immigrants from Bangladesh. और नेक्स्ट वन 2019 में इसको अमेंड करा CAA Citizenship Amendment Act 2019 that provide accelerated citizenship to Hindus, Christians, Sikhs, Jains, Buddhists and Parsis from neighboring country of Pakistan, Afghanistan and Bangladesh who have entered India before December 31st, 2014. So India has differentiated on the basis of religion by excluding Muslims for grant of accelerated citizenship for the first time through CAA 2019, and critics argue that this is against the basic structure of secularism of the Indian Constitution. And this argument made by the government is that is the only granted accelerated citizenship to religious minorities of these neighboring countries who have migrated to India owing to religious persecution in these countries and hence not discriminatory. And the Supreme Court will decide on the constitutional validity of the law. Meanwhile, the government should ensure that implementation of this law does not create an undue hardship for Muslim citizens. Now we move to the next one. Amid global tumult, rupees breached to 87 and dollar. India unit slumps 49 paisa on first day of trading after Trump's tariffs on Canada, Mexico and China. Finance Ministry official hints center is unfazed terms of uncertainty to be dealt with. So the Indian rupee that slumped almost 0.6% or 49 paisa to breach the 87 mark against the US dollar on Monday, and amid a meltdown for most emerging market currencies and stock market across Asia and Europe on the first day of trading after President Donald Trump imposed higher tariff from Canada, Mexico and China. And the rupee, which had crossed the 86 marked dollar on January 10th, that closed on 87.11 after slipping close to 87.3% during the day. The top finance official single the government was unfazed by the currency's trajectory, dominating its global uncertainty that has to be dealt with. The stressing that in India does not believe in using exchange rate policy, जो कि push करता है trade को, and key is to manage volatility, not to attain a specific level of the currency. डॉलर इंडेक्स बहुत हाई पे है, बिकॉज का रीजन क्या है? सो डॉलर इंडेक्स इज हाई. व्हाट इज हैपनिंग ओवर द लास्ट कपल ऑफ मंथ्स इज दैट डॉलर इज appreciating. So dollar index is pretty high and against all currencies. It is not just the emerging market, but even with the developed countries. Today the dollar index has picked up again and above 109. Economic Affairs Secretary Ajay Seth that has told to the Hindu. So now we move to the next article. Why scientists are monitoring asteroids with only 1% chance of hitting Earth. Newly discovered asteroid 2024, that name is YR4, has a roughly 1% of chance of crashing into Earth in 2032. NASA officials said last week. Paul Chodas, director of NASA. The name is Paul Chodas. And Center of Near Earth Object Studies say that we are not worried at all because of 99% of chance it will miss, but it deserves attention. So although a million of asteroids float in the solar system, there is small probability that one will end up hitting Earth and let alone cause serious damage over the years. However, scientists have closely observed a few asteroids such as 2024, that is YR4, for both research and monitoring purpose. What is the Y2024 YR24? See, 2024, the YR4 was discovered in December last year by the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System Atlas telescope, and according to a rough estimates based on the asteroid brightness, it is likely to be between 40 to 100 meters wide. And the logic behind estimating an asteroid size using the method that is larger than an object, the brighter it appears. But since brightness जो है वो भी depend करता है उस चीज़ के ऊपर कि how reflective an asteroid's surface is. Method is precise. Distinguishing a large dark asteroid and a small shiny one is challenging. So astronomers use the Torino scales to categorize a near-Earth object that destructive potential at the moment, and NASA has rated 2024 YR4 3 out of 10 in this scale. How often do asteroids crash into Earth and pose real danger? So thousands of asteroids enter Earth at atmosphere every day, and most are very small and burn up into the atmosphere due to friction. So the larger ones होते हैं that burn spectacularly and appears at fireballs in the sky, sometimes unburnt fragment hit in the surface, but most gases these are not big enough to cause much damage. So asteroids more than a kilometers in a diameter, such as Chicxulub asteroid that led to the extinction of dinosaurs, might hit only once in 260 million years. What can space agencies do? Space agencies such as NASA are working on planetary defense mechanism that to prevent celestial bodies from colliding with Earth, and double asteroid reduction test, which is known to be a DUJAT, a joint project between NASA and Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory that was NASA's first such mission. और 2022 में जो है डार्ट का जो स्पेस क्राफ्ट था वो भी क्रैश हुआ था into the asteroid named Dimphos and successfully changed both its shape and trajectory. Now the next article, daily आपको न्यूज़पेपर आर्टिकल्स में ये AI driven genetic testing के बारे में बात होती है कि genetic information can be processed faster with AI. The amount of personal data going under the scanner to be analyzed, that has also increased, and this is in turn increase of the potential of plausible data security risk and leaks. So the Human Genome Project launched हुआ था 1990 में and concluded in 2003, enabled the documentation and analyzing the building blocks of human DNA, that's revealing patterns that could indicate the likelihood of developing rare diseases and carrying genetic abnormalities. So how the AI changed genomics? So जब बात करें यहाँ पे genetics information की, so genetic information that can be processed faster with AI, the amount of data going under the scanner has also increased. तो इस पे और सारे रिसर्च विद दैट विल अभी आउटकम आने के बाद हम डिस्कस करेंगे. आफ्टर इंदौर, नाउ भोपाल बैन्स begging calls its social menace. भोपाल डिस्ट्रिक्ट कलेक्टर ने वहां पे मंडे को इशूड किया ऑर्डर कंप्लीटिंग प्रोहिबिटिंग बेगिंग अक्रॉस ऑल पब्लिक प्लेसेस विद इन द डिस्ट्रिक्ट जुडिक्शन. एंड उससे द मूव कम्स आफ्टर इंदौर बैन बेगिंग एंड इंट्रोड्यूस stringent measures that including the restriction of FIR against violation from January 1st. And policy part of the initiative of rehabilitate beggars and curb the practice. In Indore, multiple FIRs have already been filed after reports emerged of local residents giving alms to beggars. So individuals engaging in begging either alone or with families not only violate government directives aimed at curbing the practice but also disrupt public movements and traffic. तो ये चीजें यहाँ पे that's indeed a great initiative. Trump imposed tariff from Canada, Mexico and China spurs trade war. So यहाँ पे US President Trump on Saturday signed an order to impose stiff tariff on imports from Mexico, Canada and China, drawing swift retaliation and undeniable sense of betrayal from countries' North American neighbors as a trade wars erupted among the long-time allies. Trump posted on social media that tariffs were necessary to protect Americans, pressing the three nations to do more curb that manufacture and export of illicit fentanyl, and for Canada and Mexico to reduce illegal immigration to the US. So Canada is America's largest foreign supplier of crude oil, and with 61% of the US oil imports from January to November last year coming from there. An analyst says that while the steep tariff could have disastrous impact on Canada's economy, they are also likely to raise cost of living for Americans. Small modular reactor pocket and plants, इस आर्टिकल में what exactly was there? Basically एक new model है of nuclear power generation soon expected to enter this mix is smaller modular reactor SMR. Designed to be smaller, more flexible and easier to build than traditional nuclear setup, or each SMR will produce less than 300 megawatt of power. And scientists are also exploring an even a smaller design called micro reactors that will produce 1 to 20 megawatt of nuclear power each. So SMR aim to buck this trend by being cheaper to build and safeguard. Its proponents says different parts of SMR can be machined separately. In this year's budget speech, Mr. Sitaraman announced a new nuclear energy mission with 20,000 crore outlay to study SMR and operationalize 5 indigenous units by 2033. Now we fentanyl behind US tariffs on Mexico. ये है क्या? Fentanyl एक opioid है, which is a class of drugs that derive from a mimic natural substance found in the opium poly plants. Opium मतलब जो अफीम हम उसे कहते हैं, उसमें वो find होता है. और opioids produce a variety of effects including pain relief and euphoria and highly addictive. Other common opioids include morphine and heroin, वो भी हैं उसमें. Now देखते हैं quick tips में. Remember obsession of Lok Sabha, BMW, budget, monsoon and winter. Writs in the violation of somebody's fundamental rights, writs use करते हैं. Supreme Court and High Courts can issue a writs. C for certiorari, P for prohibition, mandamus, habeas corpus and Q for Q warrant. आप questions देखते हैं. ISRO has launched its 100th mission using which rocket? PSLV C-55, GSLV F-15, GSLV Mk-3 and SSLV D-2. Right answer is this one. Geosynchronous launch vehicle. Indian Space Research Organization marked a significant milestone by launching 100th mission using the Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle. This mission showcased India's advancement in satellite launch capabilities. Which of the following countries is not a member of G7? Many times we discussed in newspaper analysis session. इसमें Russia was a member of G7 till 2014. उसके बाद रशिया was not a member. Italy, Germany and Canada was a member of G7. So it includes Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, UK and United States. The group of 7 founded in 1975. Who became the first Australian to score a double century in Sri Lanka? So answer is here, option C. And who has named the ICC Women's Cricketer of the Year 2024? And the answer is option C. And here it is the last question. Headquarters of Indian Ocean Rim Association. और ये है कहाँ पे? Mauritius. So this is all about the session, dear students, and I hope that you enjoyed the session a lot. If you have any questions regarding this session, please let me know in the comment section. Please share this beautiful session to your friends and family. And आपके पास कोई भी सवाल हो, कोई भी कुछ पूछना हो, please let me know in the comment section. And if you have any questions, we'll meet you tomorrow next new YouTube session of daily newspaper analysis. And make sure if you are new in this channel, please subscribe our channel and do not forget to press the bell icon. Stay tuned. अपना ख्याल रखें, सुरक्षित रहें. We'll meet you tomorrow for the newspaper analysis session. Till then, bye bye and take care once again.